Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam. Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Today is Tuesday, September 19th, 2023. We are here for Testimony Tuesday. Actually, today, I am excited to have a young man that I met a couple of months ago at an event at Killer Boombox. Shout out to Brandon and Greg and Gold Luck Records for an event in which I met this young man. And he's an artist in his own right. Definitely has a flow and a swag about him that is definitely dope. But along with this artistry, he is also, I'm not going to dub him as an activist, but he is someone that is very transparent. It is Testimony Tuesday, so he's going to share some of his testimony about why he is taking the opportunity, him being a celebrity, his notoriety, and he's giving back to community. And so we're excited about that opportunity. He's in the background. Going to be ready to bring you on camera in a couple of seconds, bro. But he is doing a fundraiser, and I don't know what's up with these apps. I tried to pin it in the live, but if you go to the first comment there, that is the actual link. Oh, we're here this morning to we're raising an offering. We want to get you to go in, hit that that comment right there. It is hyperlinked to the fundraiser. $5, $10. I'm going to make a donation this afternoon after the show, but we really want to get you to support this great work. And so as soon as I see he's ready to come on, we're going to get this brother in. His name is Serial. Again, he is a rapper from the greater Boston area. I believe, Lynn, I'll get that right in a couple of seconds, but we're going to bring him in. While we're waiting on him, let's go into Java Cafe and say hello and see who was in this morning. Miss Teresa, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room. Mama Java, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room this morning. Also, Heidi, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room. Nicole, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Sister Debbie, good morning. Good to see you in the room as well. Leslie, good morning. I was walking past your book this morning. Good to see you in the room. My brother and forever manager, Newt, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Good to see you on Saturday evening, bro. Nikki, my sister, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Dina, my other sister, good morning. Good to see you in the room as well. This morning, it is Testimony Tuesday, and so we're asking you in the first comment there to go make a donation. What up, what up, what up? Ms. The Real Boss of Media in the room. I'm getting it right now. That's a little private thing there. But there is the donate hyperlink for you to tap into this brother and support the great work that's going on at the, and I want to make sure I pronounce this right, at the Ema's house. I think, and I actually may have heard of them before in the work I've done back in the day. But Sharon Cornelius. It's so good to be able to say your name this morning. Good to see you in the room. Thanks for coming out this weekend. While we're waiting for Serial, I do want to kind of joke about the fact that we had the event on Saturday from 3 to 6, you know, for the general public, my mom and the mother's board and some other folks. Shout out to Julia Mejia who came through. And, you know, when it was time to wrap up, Sharon, my mom, Leslie, they were not too enthused about leaving. They wanted to stay for the evening festivities. I had given thank yous sort of in advance to those that were, you know, supplying the food. We had desserts and stuff for the afternoon. And so I made reference to, you know, Lobster Kings, and I've really got to, when am I by myself? The next time I'm by myself without a guest, I'm really going to go in and talk about Miz, I'm not messing with you. What was I getting ready to say? He's talking about Real Boston Media created he gets a kick out of me drinking the coffee and all that. So he created a sticker. But what was I going to say? I was naming, Lobster Kings and a few folks that were coming to supply the food. And my mother turned around and said, "Well, where's the food?" So anyway, I really thank again everyone that came out this weekend. Let me just check with Serial's team to make sure his tech is good. Hold on for 1 second. And okay. Just want to make sure his tech is straight. Serial, we probably can hear you, but I can't see you. So you might have to either go back to the app or make sure that you're on screen, because I definitely want the folks to see you. Oh, there he goes. All right, we got him. We got him in. There we go. What's up, good man?
Good morning, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Look, we got you back on screen. I just text B and I was like, yo, tell him to log in and log out because it's important. I can talk about somebody just said they can't hear me. You can hear me, right?
I can hear you.
Okay. So my mother's saying she can't hear us, but y'all tell me if you can hear both of us. I think we're good. But welcome to the Java Cafe, man. As I said, I had the opportunity to meet you a couple of months ago as an artist, and definitely made a impression on me. Just a humble brother. You're a celebrity, got notoriety, you're a recording artist and whatnot. And I saw a post you put up. Well, let me give folks some context. I saw a post you put up for and am I saying it right? The Emas house? Am I saying that right?
So hold on. I had to correct you on the pronunciation of that is Emmaus.
Emmaus. See, that's why we got to get it right.
And for my name is Suriel too.
Suriel, not Sir.
All good though.
No, because it happens often, bro. So you're good.
It's
Thank you. For names are important, and also say the name of the house again. Emmaus house and Sir Riel. Okay, I got it right. Emmaus, Suriel. Okay, so now we can move on to get into the interview. No, seriously, bro. Tell us. I saw the post, and you're supporting the Emmaus house. Tell us first about you, and in that tie in why this initiative is important. But we see Millie's, we see Exit Fame, we see a lot of artists in the community that are giving back, and so shout out to you and them for doing that as well. But tell us about you and sort of how you got on this path of music and whatnot, and why it was important for you to sort of like not even necessarily look back, but bring people and help and resources like this along with you.
Yeah, man. So I started writing music. I was 12 years old, and as soon as I started, I always knew that was kind of what I wanted to do with my life. So at the time I started writing music was actually the time I lived in the shelter home. So I think part of it was because I was looking for a way to express myself. You know what I mean? I was living with my mom and 3 sisters, so I didn't really have like a male input on anything really. So I would go for hours and just listen to hip hop music. And, I'd look up to these artists like Eminem or Kanye or Jay-Z, Nas. And the one thing that they all kind of spoke about mainly, besides Kanye, not too much, but was about struggling or where you come from. And so me listening to this was kind of like giving me inspiration, like, yo, like if they could get out of, Eminem in a trailer park and all these things and like just this environments around you. And if they could do that, then I could do this too, you know what I mean? And at the time I didn't really understand the severity of the situation. Like I was 12 years old. So I was just kind of trying to figure it out by myself. But at the same time, I didn't really have anybody to really connect to about it besides my thoughts. So that gave me the inspiration to write music. But I also did it just because it gave me it was like a way for me to become popular in a new school. Like as a rapper, you know what I mean? It was like, oh, people were like, yo, this kid can rap, he's really good. And so like I would go rap and people would pay attention. So that was a way I got friends and popularity in a school that I was new to. And also it was a way that I figured or that I started to express myself.
That was, let me ask you this, and there's a lot of similarities. I'm the oldest boy, and I grew up with three sisters. And so I can identify there as well. And you talked a little bit, and I want to give you the opportunity to really talk about the Emmaus House and how it
Yeah.
really helped you. But I can't have you on here and not ask, and being aware that violence and things are an issue. And a lot of times it's brothers like you and I that did not grow up with a male figure. And you were fortunate that you, because I'll ask you and we can keep it 100.
Yeah.
There were other opportunities in which you could have had an outlet. Let's just keep that 100. What kept you on the path of using your writing and your music? And what would you say to some young men that are out there that may tune into this, that may get tagged, watch later, walk by and hear their auntie listening to it or whatever? Talk about that outlet despite what you were dealing with in life.
Well, for me, I mean, like I said, the first reason I started was because of understanding that it was a way for like young men to talk about their struggles. Like really, that's what connected me with hip hop. It wasn't really like the songs were cool and everything, and the chains and the cars and stuff like that. That's
Yep.
what I
Yep.
obviously things that I wanted, but like to see that they were actually talking about stories and things that they've gone through and struggles is really what kept me like inspired by that at the beginning.
Yep.
And then, you know, as I got older, I tried different things. I tried sports. I tried literally everything growing up. But the one thing that just kept coming back to me in life, like almost like a calling, was music. And so that's something that no matter how hard I tried to escape it, not even that I tried to really, but like no matter what I tried, no matter how much I got away from it, it always like brought me back in. It was like my calling. It felt like, you know.
Absolutely. All right. So tell us, a part of that journey included being at the Emmaus House. Talk to us about
Yeah.
that and how it, wherever you're comfortable, how you got there, maybe
Yeah.
what happened there, and then the resources and the help that they provided for you and your family as well. And shout
Yeah.
out to any of your family that you want to name and that may tune in.
Mhm. Yeah, so I actually made a song that's called "Hey Mama,"
Yep.
and it was an acoustic song, and that kind of tells us like it was like a song that me and Amani performed live, and it tells a story of actually how we got there. So basically, I'm from Lynn, Massachusetts, and my mom got married, and we moved to Florida for a little bit. So we lived in Florida for like 4 years, Orlando, and you know, she had a new baby, so we were like everything was kind of going good. We lived in Orlando, we had new cars, like life was honestly like really great. We lived in the suburbs, beautiful time. However, the relationship between her and that man got pretty bad to the point where it was becoming abusive on his side. And so my mom decided to move back to Massachusetts, and we lived with one of her friends for a little bit. And then, you know, after a couple months living with her friend, we had to figure out something to do. So it was me and my three sisters living with a whole other family, and I mean, two sisters and my mom living with a whole other family for 2 months. It was kind of like chaotic. And so we moved into the shelter home, which was Emmaus at the time in Haverhill. And in Haverhill, it was an interesting time, but because it was something that I knew, I didn't really know what it was. So I moved here. I was going to a summer camp like that they provided, and then once school started is when I started to realize like something is off a little bit different because the bus stop was right across the street from the shelter home. So like I would walk out the shelter home, go to the bus stop, and people would look at me like what's good with this kid? Like, is he live in the shelter home? All the stuff. I made some friends at that bus stop. Those were like my first friends from Haverhill. And then when I went to school, it became a thing where like I would tell people that my mom worked at the shelter home. That's why I was always there. So I would try to like avoid that because I was getting people were trying to pick on me, but at the same time, I didn't really like. I wasn't one to really let people pick on me in a way. Like I'm like you can say what you want, but whatever. Like it didn't really affect me like that. Like I'm not gonna go home and cry about it. I'm just gonna be like whatever. Like this is what it is. So I would try to play it off for the most part, but I would tell like my closest friends, like, yo, I do live here. Like this is like the situation I'm in. So that kind of made me realize, like, okay, I live in a shelter home. Like, you know what I mean? As a 12-year-old, that's not something I would have figured out until people started kind of putting their thoughts onto me. So I was like, okay. Then I realized that I didn't have like clothes, like that many clothes. I didn't have like, you know, I had to get donations and all these stuff. So it was definitely something that I learned to it's a kind of, it was something that I didn't want to share with people for a long time. It was something that I like, because right after we got out of the shelter home provided us with a housing opportunity in Gloucester. So Gloucester is like the complete opposite of Haverhill in this, or the situation that I was in Haverhill, because now I'm with like a bunch of white people
Yep.
that have way more money, and I'm seeing like all these cool cars, and I'm seeing all this stuff. But meanwhile, my mom has this hoopty, and like she would bring me to school, and everybody would be looking at me and like almost making jokes, like all this kind of stuff. So I was like, I was just seeing all this, and I'm just like, man, like I wanted to kind of just keep it to myself. So I didn't really like, instead of having my mom drop me off at school, I'd walk to school, just avoid any extra like comments and stuff, because I already been dealing with that the year before that. So like it was things like that, man, that helped me really like, it kind of just took some, like it kind of created something within me, like seeing that, right? It was like, okay, I don't want to be this forever. You know what I mean? Like if I have it my way, I'm gonna do the most that I can. I'm gonna be successful. I'm gonna like work as hard as possible to do whatever it is I want to do. And at this time, I already knew that school wasn't really the ideal thing for me. I was like,
Yep.
nah, like I really want to be a rapper. I was 12, 13 years old, and I was like, I'm gonna find a way to make this happen. And so, yeah, that's kind of the backstory on it.
No, no, no. It's good because
Mhm.
I really wanted folks first, when folks are on for the first time and it's initiative like this, because I told them
Yeah.
we're going, I grew up in church. So I told them we're going to raise an offering today
Mhm.
to get folks to donate to
Yeah.
the cause. And I see that, you all do have a $5,000 goal. You're almost at about just under or maybe a third of the way there. And so hopefully we can get you over that goal post, at least to get folks to get you up to like 16, 1700
Yeah.
of that 5,000. But it's so important, man. And I know we're here to talk about the initiative, but there are jewels and nuggets that you were spitting that if some young man tends to listen or hears this, and one of the things that stood out to me about you, you're very humble, you're low key.
Mhm.
And though you talked about, and even when you talked about the cars and all that stuff, that wasn't what attracted you to rap. And so, do you believe that those experiences contributed to you being as humble as you are?
Yeah, definitely, because like I know like what it is. You know what I mean? Like I understand. The one thing that I've learned throughout all of this, like because besides living in the shelter home for that 1 year, which was a very challenging year, just watching my family grow through it. I also moved around a lot to different schools, just in general, even before and after that. So like almost every year, I was at a different school. And so a couple of things that I learned is one of the most important things I learned was no matter what room I'm in, I'm still the same person, and that always attracted people to me in some kind of way. Like I didn't have to go out of my way to create friends. I would just be myself in any situation, and people would be like, "Wow, like this kid, he's new, but like he seems like he knows what he's doing. He seems composed or something like that." And so that's always just been my energy, like throughout anything. So like whatever room I'm in, I'm always just calm, trying to be chill, like see what's going on. But I'm never really gonna be try to be the loudest in the room or nothing like that. I'd rather let my actions and my music speak for me.
And one of those actions, let's jump right in, because that's
Yeah.
why we're here today. And one of the pastors on here said strength in motion. And yes, be yourself. So I told you earlier on that we got a couple of mothers in here that they'll jump right in and support.
Hmm.
Little bit more about the Emmaus House. It's in Haverhill. What type
Yes.
of resources? You mentioned that they helped you with the housing opportunity in Gloucester. I
Hmm.
presume you talked about, donations of clothes. Do they do food pantry? Like, tell us about the Emmaus.
Yeah.
Why is it so important to you?
No, the Emmaus House is amazing, man. I mean, the one that I was in was specifically for. I mean, they have multiple shelters for different situations.
Okay.
The one that I lived in was like a single mother situation, right? Where it was like single mothers looking for home opportunities or job opportunities and things like that. And my mom is an immigrant, so she's from Dominican Republic. So not only is she an immigrant, she wasn't the best at speaking English. She never really had a super solid career at the time, and then to get married and have like a start to get successful and then have to run away from that was a very challenging time for her.
Yep.
You know, so for us to have the opportunity to have a home, really, when she, we didn't have any income coming in or anything like that. They provided like housing for a whole year for us for free, of course, until we found an opportunity for ourselves. And then food, clothing donations, Christmas donations, Thanksgiving like donations. They had access to food pantries, after school programs, summer programs, all these things.
And so and one of the things that they're doing to support the work that they're doing is this event here, the Cycle
Yes.
for Shelter.
Yes,
And tell us about that.
That was this past Sunday. So the Cycle for Shelter is their biggest fundraising event of the year. And so that's how they kind of raise their funds for the year, pretty much. And so it just happened this past Sunday. I actually got a chance to speak at it and perform some of my songs. But this has been going on for 35 years, and they just it's really the main, like I said, the main fundraiser. So whatever they raise for this Cycle for Shelter event is what they use for resources. Absolutely. And so it's really important to for me to contribute to this, because I know how much of an impact it makes for like people in this community, and it really it changed my life, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And although it was something that I hid and was kind of scared of for a little bit, it was the biggest influence on my life to get me to where I'm at now.
I want to make sure, I wanted to show the Emmaus House, but I also wanted to bring up the actual link and page. For those of you that are just tuning in this morning, we are talking with Suriel, I got it right this time, who is contributing to the Emmaus House and sharing his story about how they helped him, and also sharing his story about being who you are. One thing that stood out, man, no matter what room I'm in, I'm still going to be the same and be me. And so that stands out as well, brother. But I wanted folks to know that there is a hyperlink right there in the comments. If you go click on that, I usually say wait till after the show, but if numbers go down and you're over in the other link making a donation, it's well worth the numbers going down. If y'all watching, y'all can come back, watch later. Please consider making a donation. I just wanted to share the page here as well, so folks are aware that this is a legitimate fundraiser. Gold Luck Records. So you want to mention anything about Gold Luck? This is in collaboration with them as well.
Yeah, Gold Luck Records is my company. It's my record label. Me and my partner started it I think it was 2019.
I thought you was going to say 20 years ago. I was going to say, wait, what?
Nah, like 2019. So yeah, man. And, it was just, it's honestly been beautiful, this experience that I've had with Emmaus, because not only are we doing this fundraiser, but before we did the fundraiser, they actually allowed me to come back and shoot a music video there, which was my last video, Heaven Knows.
Heaven Knows, yep.
And the crazy thing about it is I just got a new car, and the car was the exact same color as the building. So like to have that just random like moment,
the kind of affirmation.
Exactly. Yeah. It was just like random, like, I pulled up and I was like, what? This is crazy. Like, so, to just have these moments, shoot the music video there. And after I shot the music video there, that's when we kind of became, opened up talks about how I could contribute and how I could be involved in giving back to this community. So shout out to everybody there who's just been super helpful and super supportive about everything that I have going on.
Absolutely. And the team is in the background making sure that we know. And I want to put this in the hyperlink as well. I don't know if it hypered, but let's do it so it's just easier for folks to get to. Suriel 781.com to go watch the Heaven Knows video. You can click here. It's in the comments as well. The number one comment I want you guys to see. I'm going to go ahead and commit $56. So right now you're at the 1,500 goal. I'll take care.
Thank you so much.
Processing that. But others, if you could at least minimum, I told him I grew up in church. And so we're going to ask you at minimum, I'm committing $56. If you can commit $5.60. If the folks that are in here that watch this after the fact, you can definitely do more, but minimum, if you could commit $5.60, 10%, a tithe, if you will, off of the $56. That would be so awesome. We got over the $1,500 mark from Java with Jimmy. And if you all could help get them up to the 2,000, almost to the halfway mark, that would greatly be appreciated. This is a good brother. I know the mothers in here definitely appreciate you. Yahira saying God bless.
Thank you.
And
Yeah, I
someone
mean,
is, go ahead, sir.
no, every dollar counts. So I really appreciate any contribution from anybody, and it's been eye opening to see how willing people are to help. You know what I mean? So I've never done anything like this, so just the amount of support I've been getting and people feeling inspired or moved by what I'm doing is just it's just really been beautiful. Like the whole experience, honestly.
Absolutely. And I just want to name something. She made it public here in the comment. And it's interesting because you shared your piece about you try to not reveal your circumstances. And Nicole is saying with us right now, I'm struggling living at my mom's house with my daughters. My oldest sleeps in my old bedroom and my youngest sleeps on the couch with me. I'm waiting for housing, Section 8. Pray for me and my family. And
Yeah.
so hopefully, Nicole, today, what is it, Serio, that you would say to Nicole? She's in the audience. She's very transparent
Hmm.
about health and things. But what would you say to her just as you guys were waiting for that year? What words of encouragement would you share with her?
I would just say, Nicole, just like, I don't, sometimes it can feel like it's like very tough or almost like your back's against the wall in certain things. But this is really just a way to test your strength and your faith, in what you believe in. So really just stay strong. And when you look back in a year, 2 years from now, and you look at how far you've come, it's going to be all worth it for sure. Like
Absolutely.
that's what I've learned about everything. Like no matter since that situation, ever since any obstacle comes my way, I just look at it, get through it, and then understand that it's just a way to get me to where I'm going. Honestly,
Absolutely.
sometimes it's really hard to get there.
I was going to ask you about that perspective. I want to ask you, that doesn't mean that you're pushing away the reality, the real, the 100 of it. What can
Hmm.
you speak to the balance of having a positive perspective, but the realities are really, they're real. They're really real.
Hmm. The realities, I mean, here's the thing: anything you get right, no matter what the situation is, you can look at it as a situation where you can dwell on it and let it kind of influence everything else that you have going on, which it's almost impossible to not let it to an extent. But
Facts.
the thing about it is it's about how you handle it, whether you understand where you at, and then you, instead of letting it take such an emotional hold on you where it causes you to be depressed or causes you to be sad or upset all it's like it shouldn't be something that allows you to like be upset all the time. At least what I've learned is like you have to understand the situation you're in. If bills are tough right now and everything is like really can't afford food. Like I saw my mom go through it. You know what I mean? Like I saw her handle it in a way where she did as much as she could, and there were nights where she was depressed. There was nights where she didn't want to get out of bed. There were nights where things were really dark. But overall, her outlook on it was like, I'm gonna get through this. Like I've been, she came from a different country. She came from other things. She had worse situations, honestly. So for her, it was like, I'm gonna get through it. There were tougher days, but the mentality should just always be, I'm gonna find a way out of this, and I'm gonna grow from this.
It's so interesting, and I appreciate the balance that you gave.
Hmm.
Nicole's definitely a strong sister.
Hmm.
Nicole, thank you for your transparency. And
Yeah,
you,
thank you for
Stereo, as
sharing.
well. And Heidi also shared. I know what it's like to be unhoused. Slept in my best friend's mom's bed for over a year, and so
Hmm.
this testimony on Testimony Tuesday is not just exclusive to you. I've been in situations I had to go back home and stay with my grandmother twice.
Hmm.
Stay with my sister on her couch a couple of times. So all of us, not all of us, but many of us have been in that situation. And it's definitely, I definitely appreciate you coming on and being real, and also speaking a little bit to some folks that may be dealing with it now, to a young man that, because we know how we can be as young people, we tease and whatnot. And we know how some old heads can be as well, because the young people find out stuff because the old heads be in the background talking about this and this. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that. But Heidi asked for the link. And so Heidi, it's the very first comment. For some reason, I could not pin it in Facebook. I don't know what they're doing. But that is the very first comment that I put up. It's from Java with Jimmy. That is the link to make the donation. They're already at 1,500. I will get that donation. If others could minimally share $5.60 with the Emmaus House, that would definitely be awesome. As Serial said, Every dollar counts. Suriel, let me get it right. Get it right. Suriel, every dollar counts. And so, Leslie is saying your humility is refreshing and wise.
Thank you.
They said you have wise counsel. And Heidi is going to tie for my gift. So we got another $5.60 there.
Yeah, thank you.
Pastor Marion also is sharing that she's still waiting on housing. And so, sir, this that you're doing, yes, you're doing for Haverhill in the house, but you're addressing you're making your contribution to a larger issue that housing is interesting. And I'll be very transparent. I've teased and I'm going through some stuff with my landlord illegally trying to be evicted. And so I appreciate you, sir, for raising this and reminding us that all else that's going on, people need a place to live, to be able to call home, to have a mailing address, to hang their clothes, even if they're donated, still be able to hang their clothes somewhere. Even if you're getting food from the pantry, being able to put that in the cabinet or in the fridge. So
yeah, I mean, even though we lived in a shelter home, it was a place for us to live. Like, you know what I mean? Like that means a lot. To me, when I even said that, like I got like a feeling about
yes,
it.
sir.
Like
Yes, sir.
that meant a lot. Just being able to like move around. Like I said, we were living with her family, with her sister's family. I mean, her friend's family for a long time. So like we didn't really have room to just like stretch in the morning. You really have like, you know what I mean? You couldn't be comfortable in your own place. So whatever home you have, like to have that is a blessing. I mean, and to have that at that time really allowed me to move the way I wanted to, kind of grow a lot of ways that I wouldn't have if I was in that kind of chaotic environment. So
okay. It's Testimony Tuesday. We ain't going to take you to we're going to have them take you to church real quick. But listen, Suriel, I really appreciate you spending the time this morning with us. I did not know that Gold Luck was your label. I thought that you were on their label. And so that even speaks to the impression that I get from the label as well. So, and you being a black and brown owned business, small business as well. And so an entrepreneur. And so definitely last question, because I'm sure you're able to speak to this. With a lot of the lyrics and a lot of rappers, oftentimes, and I don't know if you would be comfortable with me putting the label on you, a conscious rapper, but rapping about life. Let's just say that. A lot of times you're exposed to life situations. You probably deal with being an entrepreneur. I don't know if you're a parent. Sometimes if you have a partner, the business and whatnot, what do you do for your self-care? Last question. What do you do for self-care?
Man, self-care is important for me, man. Like,
y'all see how he leaned back? This ain't something. It's just going to be. Come on, sir. What do you do for self-care?
Self-care, bro. I like to go to art. So art museums for me is like the biggest muse. Like I go to art museums. I'll travel to go to art museums.
No pun intended. Art museums is the biggest muse. Whatever, bro.
Yeah, and so so that's my favorite thing to do. Probably just go to art museums. Like I've been luckily able to travel to France to go to like Louvre and things like that. But also working out is huge for me. And finding time for myself. Like I try to every week have a moment where no matter what's going on, I take time for myself and do whatever it is I want to do, whether that is go to a restaurant, go to watch a movie or by myself completely. You know what I mean? That's something that gives me that space to like kind of regroup. So working out, museums, movies are probably my way to self-care.
Okay. And how important is it for men to pay attention to health and self-care? I promise I feed off of the energy of your answers. And so depending on your answer, this may or may not be the last question. How important is it, man, for us to pay attention to our health and especially our mental health?
Bro, it's the most important thing. And I'm going to go back because I have a short film called What Can I Say? Which is my project from 2020, I believe 2019. And it's a short film I made about a time I actually had a seizure because I was overexhausted. And that moment for me changed everything because I was some kind of kid. I mean, obviously I came from the shelter home. So once I started to get success for my first project in 2018, it was like something that I was like, all right, now that people are seeing me, people are recognizing me, I have to go even harder. And I think a lot of times as Black men, we take the route of, yo, I got to keep working, I got to keep grinding, I got to keep hustling no matter what it is, you know what I mean? Because we come from situations that aren't always the best situation. So for us, the only way out of it is to grind it, right? To grind until you're out of it. And so sometimes, at least for me, I went way too hard. Like I was working a full shift at work, 8 hours, sometimes 10 hours, and then going to do the studio for 8 hours too after. So I was drinking like 6 coffees a day, like just grinding as hard as I could just to get through it. Like I would sleep 3 to 4 hours for like 6 months straight, and eventually it caught up to me.
Yep.
So since that point, I had to take a step back and reanalyze like how I go about it. I still work just as hard, but now my hours are, the work that I put in is a lot more effective because I give myself that rest time, and I give myself that quality time for myself. Like I work out, I rest, I do everything that I need to do, but I manage it. But resting is super, super important. Relaxing is super, super important. Changing your environment is super, super important. And those are things that I never take for granted or put aside. Like that's just as important as the work for me now.
All right, that that was the last question. Because it just, you see people. I've seen you a few times. We've dapped up, we chatted real quick, and and I don't say this disrespectfully. You see people on the surface, just in being in social environments, and the opportunity to be able to chat with you today. I'm like, okay, I knew this brother had something with him, and so I'm able to kind of put my finger on it now, where the humility. Some of the humility comes from that. Could just be who you are, and that contributed it.
Yeah.
But it definitely. And one last thing I want to leave you with, and you don't focus a lot on it, but it stood out to me that Leslie said, "Pain creates great music." Some artists would definitely be like, she's 100% right." And so, you know, the experiences, and Heidi saying that's good and super helpful wisdom taken. And so I'm waiting. You talk about, you know, Nicole a year from now, whatever. I'm waiting a year from now from you to see, you know, exactly what you're doing and what happens. And the fundraiser, I think it just went up.
We put it up about like a week and a half ago. But
no. I'm talking about the money went up. It went up to 1507.
Oh wow, thank you so much.
It's you know, it went up a little bit. I'll make my donation. So that no, it was 1450. So somebody already I didn't make my 56 yet. So, and I'm not saying this all from Java.
Oh wow, okay.
So I don't know. I if it is the 56, I may have an idea of who in here may have went and did that. I'll get on them later. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. And they're praying for you. We got some praying mothers in here. They're praying for more open doors. So y'all add him to the prayer list, y'all. And keep this young man covered that's doing great things in our community and in music. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate your artistry as much as your I won't put the thing of activism on you, but advocacy. I appreciate your advocacy as well, man. And shout out to the team, Brendan and them, for making this happen. And the platform is here. Anything that you're doing like this, y'all got the email. We're in touch, DM or whatever. And I'll definitely see you this evening as well.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, brother. Thank you, man. And appreciate you so much for being with us. This was definitely a good Testimony Tuesday.
No, thank you. And thank you to everybody that tuned in and had, you know, shared their stories and comments. So I really appreciate everything.
Absolutely. And watch that fundraising goal, man. We're on a mission. All right.
Thank you, man. Yes, we are, for sure. Thank you.
All right. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Listen, folks, make sure that you go to this comment and this hyperlink, and please consider donating. A lot of you have already donated, or others made that's not on Java Cafe, but I seen it go from 1454 to 1507 in just a couple of minutes. And so I'll be making my donation as well. Thank all of you for tuning in today. Tomorrow is the 20th. I got to check with the team because there is, I believe, the Apple, Alberto is having the, it's not, I don't want to name it the wrong thing. But there is a breakfast tomorrow celebrating, this is Latino Heritage Month. And there's a breakfast tomorrow that Alberto is sponsoring. And so I may go to that and go live from there. I just need to figure out if we have anybody scheduled for tomorrow. So we will be here in some way, shape, or form tomorrow at 9 a.m. Thank all of you for tuning in today. Please go support this brother and the great work that they are doing at the Emmaus House, and he and Gold Luck Records. Thank you all for tuning in today, and we'll see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. I don't think I have any other announcements. So that's it. We'll see you tomorrow. Miss Tia saying good morning to Naraki. Naraki, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room. Nikki, love you as well. That is it. And I seen some of y'all comments about the food and the party and all that other stuff. Yeah. So we'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Have a great day, everybody.